FS1 NFL analyst D'Angelo Hall. So, D'Angelo, I want to get your take on this. Yeah. Do you have any concern taking Kyler number one?
I mean, I got a little bit of concern, especially hearing this. And, you know, Charlie Cashley is a well-respected guy in the game. And so, you know, to hear that Kyler Murray didn't impress people like I thought he would, you know, it is a little troubling. But on the reverse of that, like, what was the situation? What were the teams? Because, you know, I've been in those interview processes as a player and as a kind of front office guy. And I've seen guys who come in there knowing this team's picking 23. I'm a top 5 pick. You know, I'm just kind of going through the motions. Yeah. So some guys go in that meeting going through the motions like, yep, yes, sir. Yeah, no. You know, kind of very mum with their answers and just, you know, kind of nonchalant, like, you know, why am I here? Y'all are wasting my time. Now, if that was Kyler's approach, then that's a bad approach. Because as you know, anybody, if they fall in love with you, they will do anything to get you. And so, you know, I think the advice for him should have been, hey, look, go in there and let's wow everyone. We already have a lot of marks against who you are because of your height and other things. So let's go in there and let's wow everybody and let's not give them anything to talk about. Because through this whole process, I would have thought that your agent would have given you the playbook. That's the thing that confuses me with why kids don't excel at the Wonderlic or excel at, you know, drills at the combine or even interviews. They've given you the roadmap. Every agent who goes in and recruits you gives you his spiel on why you should pick him. And part of that is, hey, we have some of the best combine prep guys. We can get you we can get you through the interview coach.
And they get to practice on the Wonderlic test that you're going to actually take at the combine.
Yeah, and so I just, you know, I'm just a little confused on if Kyler really was in there trying to woo guys or if he kind of knew, you know, I'm going to Arizona anyway.
Okay, but remember, his agent is Cliff Kingsbury's agent. Okay,
I did know that,
a whole new game that you're playing, right?
For me, the concerns that I have is physical. It has nothing to do with what Charlie said that may or may not be true. I worry about a 5'10" guy that's probably going to play the first part of his career, 4 or 5 years, at barely 200 pounds. Can he withstand the physical rigors of playing quarterback in the NFL, taking that pounding, 16 games, a couple of preseason games every year for the first 5 years? Those are my concerns. It has nothing to do. Skip, I've known some guys that were great on the board. Oh, you call a play? Oh, if we get this coverage, this is where we're going to go with the ball. If we get that coverage, this is where we're going to go with the ball. Or we're going to check out and do that. But couldn't play dead in a horror movie.
Yeah.
So which one do you want? Give me the guy. He might not be the greatest. He might not be Rain Man on the blackboard. Can he play football, Skip? That's what I need to know. I don't need to know all this, no X equal pi square and all that other foolishness. Can he play football? And if he can play football, give me that guy.
And sometimes a blank canvas isn't necessarily bad, because if I'm Coach Kingsbury and I can get a blank canvas as opposed to, and I don't know Josh Rosen, but just some of the stories I've heard and some of the things I've seen him say, you know, I could see Coach Kingsbury coming in there trying to show Josh what to do, and Josh saying, oh, hold on, I got this. I got this. This is how I watch film, Coach.
It was
and so I can see Kyler's kind of
Jim Moore Jr.
being more moldable.
Kind of butted heads at UCLA.
Correct. By the way, Tony Romo was Rain Man in the TV booth last year, the year before, and on the football field, I'm trying to figure
if Tony was that good, how did he not figure out a couple times that I was sitting in the weeds waiting for him? But he was pretty amazing, I must say.
Yeah, in the booth.
In the booth.
Yes,
in the booth.
I agree. In the booth. I know you know Charlie Casserly, and he is respected. I thought this came across as out of bounds to me. That these were cheap shots to me, and Jenny said he talked to several teams. I don't know. Did he really talk to several, or was it one? Was it two? Was it the one or two that Kyler had no use for and no business for? I know enough about him. Jenny has interviewed him many times. He doesn't suffer fools lightly. You know, if you don't impress him quickly, he's got no use for you. If he thinks he's wasting his time, he can act like a jerk to you. He got a little crossways with Dan Patrick in that interview, and once you rub him the wrong way, he will rub back. That's how he is constructed. That's how he leads on the football field. He is all business. If you watch, I watched every snap he took at the University of Oklahoma. He leads with his body language, not with what he's saying. He's not verbal vocal. It's all about how he plays. He is a clutch, big moment playmaker. And when he throws a touchdown pass or runs 70 yards for a touchdown, he drops the football and he doesn't celebrate. He just goes with his teammates back to the bench. He doesn't wear, he's got a big chip on his shoulder, just like Baker Mayfield, but he doesn't wear his chip on his sleeve. It comes across as smoldering chip, like he's going to show you. He's not going to, Baker will tell you what he's going to do to you, and then he will show you. Then he'll back it up. But this kid is more quiet. He might come across as a touch shy. He's going to size you up, and if he doesn't know you, he's going to be a little leery of you. And I don't know what his agent told him to do in some interviews, if he said, just shut it down for this one because we're not interested in that team.
Yeah.
You also have to be careful because they use it as reconnaissance. It's like reverse psychology where they're going to pick your brain because they know they're not going to take you, but they're going to have to compete against you. What are you made of? What makes you tick? Show me something here. But how in 15 minutes you could conclude that he's not a leader and that he doesn't have good work habits, I don't know, because I'm not sure how that comes across in a 15-minute interview. Help me out.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost impossible. Having sat in those rooms on both ends of the spectrum, it's very hard. Sometimes we barely get through one clip, and it's like, the horn's blown. So you're kind of like, well, man, we didn't get much out of that guy.
Okay.
And so, I definitely go back to that, like, how much could you really have gotten? And, like I said, Charlie is well respected. I disagree with a lot of things Charlie Cashley says normally, but I don't know this whole story. I don't know Kyler Murray at all. From what I see, I think the biggest thing for me is I want to see what kind of leader he is. I think, when I heard Freddie Kitchens talk about Baker Mayfield and the process in which they went through in drafting him, he was just like, these guys' numbers are very similar. They might can throw the ball, they might can run. But it's something about Baker, man. When he walks in a room, like, guys rally behind him. Guys want to follow him. And if that can be Kyler Murray, he can be very, very special because the things he can do on a field, unmatched.
But, D'Angelo, you knows what goes with some of the stereotypical things that Charlie said. Because when you say he's not good on the board and all, you ought to, the man
Not
go,
smart.
he's not smart.
Yep.
Well, is he going to prepare? Oh, he's lazy.
Is he lazy?
So I just don't, you have to be really, really careful when you say these things. And for me, just say, I heard a lot of negative feedback on Kyler Murray. You don't have to get into specifics.
But to open that can up.
Right. Skip, I talked to 3 or 4 different teams and that interviewed Kyler Murray. And the report that I got back from these teams, they weren't all glowing. There were some red flags that these teams have about this young man. But when you start going there, Skip, because we've heard it, Cam and Vince Young, and it's just a place that I don't think Charlie was, man, this is going to be malicious. He's just telling you what he heard. But you have to be careful.
1 or 2 or 10.
Or
I don't know. I would like to know for sure. Because in the end, the tape does not lie.
Yes.
If you put this tape on, all he did was pull off the greatest statistical year in college football history. And I realize his coach is calling his plays and is in his ear constantly because they're looking to the sideline for the call every time.
They're going to call his plays in the NFL too.
Right? It'll be the same thing. But listen, Kyler can see it and feel it. Trust me. He's low interception rate. He's accurate with the football. All of his gut instincts are correct, and he is pass first. He is not run first. He is going to use the quickest feet I've ever seen on a football field to create throwing lanes and time to throw the football. And he can wing it.
Skip believe he can outrun Vic.
Nah. Nah. You see my face?
No.
And it ain't even close.
I told you.
Even Michael Vick said that Vic can't outrun Lamar Jackson.
I mean, that's what Mike's supposed to say. When I was a young kid, Mike used to always say, D-Hall, man, you beat me in a race every single time. But then when we get out there, when we start running and he's in the middle of a drill, I'm trying to get him.
I don't think people. Mike was legit 4.33.
Not 4.2.
Mike was legit. Mike can run. Mike can run, Skip.
Yeah, legit.
I believe Kyler can go 4.2. I just do.
You think
I
so?
just do.
No way.
I don't see it. I see those little legs, and it kind of
Take
gives
a whole
you
lot of steps. He ain't going nowhere.
that false perception that he's really running
Darren
really
It's
fast.
not false. I've watched it. He can move.
Jenny,
He
4.2.
can move. I don't know about 4.2.
Yeah, heck, I ran 4.1, and
right?
I'm telling you, that dude ain't running 4.2.
4.1?
Yeah, 4.1 at Virginia Tech.
But we're talking
I got
about
the record.
his leadership,
I got a big
though.
record.
You got 4.1?
Yep.
Wait a second. You ran 4.1?
Yep.
What'd you run the combine?
4.31. But I wasn't supposed to run. You got to let me tell my story. You got to let me
Okay,
tell my
there's
story.
more
You
to
got to
the
let me tell my
story.
story. I wasn't supposed to run. So, the top-rated guys never run. So all week I wasn't running. I lifted hard, so my legs were still heavy, didn't taper down, while all the other guys were tapering down because they knew they were going to run. Daryl Eto, who was our speed coach at Athletes Performance, came there to work a lot of guys out. And, I was warming up with him, running really fast. And he was like, wow, D-Hall, man, you probably should run. And I'm like, nah, I'm not going to run. My agent said I shouldn't run. So I get in there and I'm doing all these interviews and I'm wowing everybody because that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm wowing everybody. And so Coach Vermeil gets in there. He's like, D'Angelo, why don't you want to run? I'm like, well, Coach, my agent told me not to run. I've been lifting through this process. And so, my legs aren't really ready. And he just starts crying. Why wouldn't you run for us? You got all 32 teams here, D'Angelo. And I'm watching him and I'm tearing up. Okay, Coach, I'll run for you. And I ran. So. But wasn't necessary. I didn't even have my shoes. I borrowed somebody's shoes, ran. But
4.31, you said?
4.31.
On a bad day?
Yeah, on a bad
still
day.
pretty
He said fast
What
guys
do you
run
think you
fast.
weighed
Yeah,
that day?
205. Because I had bulked up weight-wise, drinking gallons of water to try to be a little heavier.
I'm still on.
Well, you almost pulled a Dion. Dion flew in town that morning, took his sweats off, ran 140, said, I'm out.
Yeah, that was a different time. They'd have blacklisted me if I'd have ran and just left.
I just want to read one quote from Lincoln Riley. He was on Dan Patrick today. He said, Kyler was a tremendous leader for us. Tremendous leader, aggressive. All he cares about is winning. And I think our team took on that personality without a doubt.
And that's who opinion that I would definitely
whose opinion
trust.
matters.
Without
Now he's
a doubt.
having to go on and kind of defend the guy. I find that interesting. He's not going to just say those things unless he means it.
Yeah. No.
All right. Either way, D'Angelo, thank you for joining us.
Thank
Always
you.
good to get your take. Well, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving team up this summer, but not in New York.